Yo, what's up? Long time no see. Whoa, hold on. Phoenix, Boston. It's a good thing I started this early. I wouldn't have noticed that the graphics are off. What's going on, everybody? We're only for college. We're only like 4 games into 25 games. Most of the games are tonight, but I think I'm 2-1. I think I'm off to a good start. I need South Carolina here. That game just started. Yeah, everyone's hating on BYU. I don't know. I haven't talked to Toast. I would imagine he's not. He's actually, you know what? I'm pretty sure Toast started the day off 2-0 or 3-0. So maybe he's off a suicide watch now. 1 second, let me just get the right graphics loaded up here. I've got yesterday's NBA graphics here. I don't like the games tonight. That being said, I have 3 bets down, which is like... No, I know the graphics are wrong. That's what I'm doing right now, fixing it. Yeah, Gamecocks are playing. You don't have to bet against the Nuggets, man. Go ahead. Lay that 10.5 on the road. Wisconsin fought their way back into this game, man. All right, now let's get the new graphics on the screen. Let's see, game 1 is here. Phoenix, Charlotte. Game 2 is here. We got Miami, Detroit. Yeah, what I'm in. Game 3. Game 4. Game 5. And Game 6. All right, all the graphics are ready now. Let's get Prop Beaver in the stream here. Oh, Chris is here too. We're all ready. Someone in the comments already said they don't want to bet against the Nuggets. You guys don't have to. Hey Sauce, I have a parlay. The last 2 legs are Suns Nuggets money line. Well, with my love of the Spurs, I wouldn't say I love the Spurs. I bet them to cover plus 10. I don't know if I would call that I love the Spurs.
Hey, you know what it is? Can you hear me, guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you.
What it is that every time you take a spread, you take the money line too, and people probably forgot that it's a +5 line.
That's a 5 thing, and that's like specifically like a trial. Like I'm not saying you guys should do that. I ran a bunch of math before the season, and I'm trying it out this year, and it's been successful. 5 or less, man. All right, we'll start off up in a minute and a half. Prop Beaver, you have some bets down tonight?
Yeah, I have 2 that I already placed, and I'm looking to place a third, but I need Jalen Johnson to sit.
He's questionable, right?
Yeah, I mean, I
need
have
him to
pretty
play,
much.
probably.
I have a pick for every game, but I'm looking for Jalen Johnson to sit tonight.
If Jalen Johnson and Bogdanovich both play, I might even be down to lay the 3 with the Hawks. That I didn't bet that one.
I bet it.
Yeah, that's the side I would
I'll
be
take
on.
it. Yeah.
I feel like the Hawks kind of laid an egg in Portland the other night and maybe affecting the value. And then they put them favored again against Utah. I feel like that's like making a statement, the line where they put this.
Yeah, Utah don't want to win either. We'll talk about it.
Yeah, what the hell are they playing for him? Prop Ever, your mustache looks exquisite, someone said.
I did a little trimmeroo today. Thank you.
Thanks for noticing.
Thanks, man.
Oh, come on,
It's the little
Wisconsin.
things.
Wisconsin's trying to give this lead back now. All right, it is. No, not yet. 4:00.
Now it is.
Mine still says 3:59. Okay, it says 4 now. All right, so we got Suns at Hornets to start. Oh, Chris is here, as I'm sure you can see on your screen. Not the most exciting night for NBA, but like I said earlier, I do have 3 bets down. I bet 3 of these crazy games. Yeah, let's get it started. We'll see. I'm a little exhausted, man. This March Madness is crazy. It's like financially draining too. I feel like every single year I get so excited for March Madness, and then every single year I'm like, why do I bet this shit? Hold on, let me get the poll on the screen. It has such an unpredictability to it.
I mean, it's a high volume of bets and a high volume of unpredictability just clashing with each other at the same time. So,
well, it's like the team
unless you're on
the team that led the conference in rebounding all season gets out rebounded 49-20 by like the worst rebounding team in the conference, and it's like, where was I supposed to find that in the numbers? But all right, let's get started. We're here for the NBA. We got Suns Hornets, and we're starting off with a game that I'm not seeing anything. In fact, I was considering Charlotte, but do you guys have anything? This is my least favorite game on the board.
I think I'd lean the Hornets. I think it's going to be a slow-paced defensive matchup. And on the season, the Hornets have excelled at defending the long mid-range. Suns are getting murdered from the perimeter, and the Hornets do love to chuck their threes. That's the main shot zone they shoot from. The Hornets' offense is pretty horrendous, but they have been somewhat more respectable at home. But I am going to say it's only a lean, though, because the Suns have had a pretty brutal schedule lately, and the Hornets have had a cakewalk lately, and the Nets have, and the Suns have considerably better net efficiency numbers. So I don't know. The Suns just aren't good at covering, though, so I'd probably lean Charlotte.
If you put a gun to my head, said make a bet on this game, I probably would go here and maybe take the under, because Charlotte has been playing some good defense recently, even though it's been against a cakewalk of a schedule. Problem is taking under in Suns games. It's sometimes like they have the tendency to just go bucket for bucket with whoever. Like they'll take the Pistons, they'll take the Heat, like, even though like under teams, and just go bucket for bucket with them. So it'll be under a pass for me. Chris, you have anything?
Yeah, I bet it too. It's a smaller bet, like it's not a big bet, but I took the points here with Charlotte, plus 9.5 for Charlotte here. So Phoenix, of course, on the second leg of a back-to-back. They did have 2 days off before the game yesterday against Boston, but I mean, how can we? It's only been 4 times so far this season that a road favorite is on the second leg of a back-to-back laying double digits, and they're 1-3 straight up, and 1-3 against the spread in that spot. They also, to your point, Kyle, they're also 4-0. All 4 of those games are actually going to the under as well. But I can't trust, and a big part of it is I can't trust Phoenix defensively. Like, of course, you know they are, and they're just 2-9 against the spread in their last 11 games. Phoenix also just 7-11 against the spread as road favorites, 1-4 against the spread in their last 5 as road favorites. And since the All-Star break, kind of talking about piggybacking on what you was talking about, probably. Charlotte, they're the 7th rated defensive team, 5th in opponent effective field goal percentage. They're forcing the 5th most turnovers. And what does Phoenix like to do? Turn the ball over. They turn the ball over at the 6th highest rate. So Charlotte, they haven't been great offensively, like you said. They just suck. But I think they'll be able to keep it close here, man. I just don't see Phoenix. I don't even think Phoenix will want to win this game by 10 points. And the other thing was not only the turnovers, but the defensive numbers. The strength of Charlotte's defense is what Phoenix likes to do, and that's take that mid-range shot. They're attempting about 50% of their shots there, and Charlotte has actually done well at defending the three-point line and defending the mid-range shot. So I took the points here. This number actually was at 10. It's come down to 9.5. I see it back down to 9, and I see Eric Gordon get rolled in throughout the day, and now it's back up to 10, 10.5. So I'm comfortable with the 9.5. Like I said, it's not the biggest bet that I made today, but just for some action, I don't think Charlotte's going to lose this game by double digits.
I don't hate that. I'm looking at there's a 10.5 on FanDuel staring me in the face right now. Maybe at the end. I'm not placing it right now. All right, so our poll is pretty split, actually. We got 42%, 37%. So a lot of you like the Suns, but a lot of you like the Hornets too. So it looks like we're split down the middle, 50-50 in this one. So move on to game number 2. Miami at Detroit. I don't know why this graphic says 6.5. This is 7.5, 8. Actually, yeah, this is mostly 8. So I must have made these graphics a while ago. So you can see in the bottom left corner, it's 8. So let's run the poll at 8. Pistons plus 8. Pass. Prop Beaver, you want to start us off here?
Yeah, I'm gonna take the points with the Pistons. I am a bit sussed out by the line, but I mean, with the Pistons' recent success and Miami's recent downtrend, so I'm kind of hoping this line is a bit of a reaction to Cade's injury status. But whether he plays tonight or not, I do like the scrappy Pistons team. They've just simply been a wagon. They've covered the last 19 of 27 games, the last 11 of 15 at home, and on top of that, they've simply owned this Heat team. They've covered the last 12 of 15 matchups now. What the Heat like to do offensively is attack the paint, and the Pistons have allowed opponents to attack the paint at a high rate, but they've been excellent in limiting efficiency, so I like that. And then on the other side of the ball, the Pistons have transitioned away from attacking the rim like they were earlier in the season, and now they're attacking the paint. That's perfect because the Heat's defensive strength is protecting the rim, and their defensive weakness, their kryptonite, is protecting the paint. So it's a good offensive matchup for the Pistons. I'm going to take the extra points here that the Sharps are giving us, steaming up that line, and ride with Detroit to just continue being them, covering those lines.
Being them.
They're incredible.
I can't add anything to that because that was about every point I had. I'm on Detroit too for the same exact reasons. Literally word for word what he said. Miami's got terrible success against Detroit. The way Detroit's been playing offense the last 10 games, it's not that it's been great. It's just better suited to give the Heat problems. So I'm down to take the 8. I'm not laying 8 points on the road with the Heat that seem to just be struggling to figure it out right now. So yeah, I'm on the Pistons as well.
Yeah, I didn't play this one, but that was the only way I would play it as well. I would love to get Cade in, and you know, honestly, because the injury implications is that he might not play because of injury management. Like, what? Like, are we just trying to tank the game, Monty Williams? Like, if you're gonna take the game, just put tank beside it. Like, don't say injury management. He didn't even play yesterday. Like, y'all didn't even have a game yesterday, and he sat the last 15 minutes of the game against the Toronto Raptors the other day. So it's like that part kind of gives me some hesitation, but. Yeah, I mean, Miami's not profitable, only 41%. They're 5-7-1 against the spread on the road as a favorite. So only winning those games by average, they're +2. So yeah, it'd be Detroit plus the points. But I would love to have Cade. If Cade was in, then I would probably take this because Miami is 8-2 straight up in the last 10, but they're also 2-8 against the spread the last 10 against the same Detroit team. So the line makers are telling us that. They just typically set the line too high. So people have to take Detroit or nothing. Miami's already won 2 games earlier this season, but they didn't cover either one. They were getting 9.5, and they were laying 9.5, and they were laying 11, and they didn't cover either one of them. So, yeah, I would only take the points with Detroit here, but it's not anything that I played.
Yeah, and I tried to just look it up, but Stat Muse makes you reset your email every 2 weeks, so I would have to do that. But earlier in the season, the Pistons had a great record against the number without Cade Cunningham. So even if he doesn't play, that wouldn't scare me off. That wouldn't make me cash out. Nothing would make me cash out. But, yeah, so the status of Cade Cunningham wasn't really affecting my decision-making here. But, yeah, we're all on Detroit, and the community is slightly leaning Detroit. Definitely a lot of people out there that clicked Heat, though. 47%, 41% Pistons. Next game, Orlando at Toronto. Man, I want to get there with the Magic. This is another one. The lines move. This is 8.5 now. These graphics were made a couple hours ago. Let me get these picks out of the way. Magic minus 8.5. Raptors plus 8.5 pass. All right. What jumps right out at me here is we got the Magic, and we got a Raptors team that can't protect the basket, severely injured. So right off the bat, we should be thinking the Magic can get whatever they want at the rim, and that's probably true. That being said, Orlando's offense has kind of dipped recently. You know what? Let me pull it up so I can give you the exact numbers here.
Orlando's stunk.
Yeah, what is going on with that offense? I mean, I took them against the Nets, and they covered the number. They did their job, and the defense looks great. But in the last 5 games, Orlando offensive rating 25th against the 28th strongest schedule. So this Magic team is playing weak opponents and struggling to score an efficient rate. That being said, the defense has been there. So I was actually thinking about getting involved on the under. Want to see what these guys think about that. We know this Magic team is always down to play a low-scoring game. The problem is the Raptors really aren't. They run a lot of fast breaks. But you know what? I took the over in the Raptors-Pistons a few nights back. Just played the pace. Just specifically didn't look at the matchup, just played the pace. And it was Brick City, man. No one made any shots. So it didn't even matter how fast of a pace they were playing at. They couldn't get over the total because they just weren't making shots. So part of me is thinking, hey, Orlando's offense doesn't look good. Orlando's defense looks great. And even if Toronto wants to try to pick up the pace, Orlando will probably try to slow it down. That's for one. But even if Toronto is able to pick up the pace a little bit, I don't think they're going to make their shots. So I think the only way I would go here is under. Let's see. My graphic says 223.5, but I think it's dropped since then. Yeah, it's down to
dropped a lot.
Yeah, it's down to 217.5. These must be from this morning or something. I guess the updated ones I made a couple hours ago didn't get loaded. So the total is now 217.5. These are where the lines were hours ago. But yeah, so 217.5. That's where I'd go under. Didn't bet it, but if these guys like it, maybe I'll put something down. Chris?
Nah,
probably forgot.
Oh no.
Yeah, no problem. Go ahead.
Sorry, Chris. I interrupted. My bad. Yeah. So basically, to your point, I think all the value's been basically drained out of this game. The line movement on the Magic, now it's at 8.5 on some books. That's not great. The under, I do like the under too, but at 217.5, we already lost 6 points on that number. I mean, Jesus Christ. I think in this one, I'm just gonna take the numbers out of it. Just take the Magic. Just lay the points with them. I mean, they're 21-5 against the spread as favorites overall, 7-2 against the spread as road favorites. The Raptors have been brutal at home this season. 5-10 against the spread in their last 15 at home, 5-10 against the spread as home dogs this season, and they've lost their last 5 or 6 at home by 10 plus, most of which being with Podol and Barnes. Now neither of them are going to be on the court. As you said, the Magic live at the rim. The only thing here that I'm a bit concerned about is the fact that the Raptors don't foul much, but we just saw in that last game against Detroit that the Pistons headed to the line 31 times in that game. So maybe Podol being out, we're going to start seeing the Raptors foul a bit more. And the Magic could draw fouls against most teams in general anyway. So I'm just, if you need a bet here, if you want to just lay a little half unit somewhere, I would go with the Magic.
Chris?
I bet it. I bet it last night, though.
Orlando?
I bet Orlando last night before the line got steamed up, because this was a spot where I kind of felt like sometimes if you want the favorite, you got to get the early numbers. If you want the dog, you wait because you know the money's gonna come in on that side. And this line was 6.5 when I bet it last night. And it's for some of the reasons that you mentioned, probably. Orlando's, like you said, 8-1 straight up, 7-2 against the spread as road favorites. 21-4 straight up and against the spread when they're playing against a team that has a 45% win percentage or less. And then those road games when they're playing teams that have a 45% win percentage or less, they're 10-4 straight up, 11-3 against the spread. To your point, Kyle, I think Jalen Suggs was the reason. Like they played a couple games. Remember when you got the Knicks right last week? That was a game that he got ruled out, and then he also missed the next game as well. So I think their offensive numbers are skewed just a tad bit because Markelle Fultz was out in those games as well. So now you get some point guard play back, and I think that helps the offense a lot. The only thing that concerns me a tad bit in this game is Orlando. They can turn the ball over. We know that they have the second highest turnover rate, and that can be problematic because Toronto's not really stopping anybody, but they are forcing about the 8th most turnovers since the All-Star, well, at least in the month of March. So as long as they don't turn the ball over, I see them stifling, what's left of this Toronto team. Jakob Poeltl will still be out. They still don't have Chris Boucher. No Scotty Barnes, of course. And RJ Barrett, rest in peace to his brother. He lost his brother, so he's going to miss this game for personal reasons, and condolences to the family. But I just don't see how they can generate offense against an Orlando team that's pretty much top 5 in all the defensive metrics after the All-Star break and over the last 5 or 10 games. So I played the points. I should have just took the under, like you said, Kyle, because Toronto team total under, I think it came out like 109.5, and Orlando's barely been letting teams get to 100. But like you said, the pace kind of scared me, and then before I knew it, that line had dropped already. So I did play Orlando in this spot, but that number, and like you said, I'll probably just still take it because I feel like they should stifle them, and it should be a double-digit win here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, if I had to take a side, it would only be Orlando. As much as crazy as that sounds, like if I had to take a side, I would lay 9 points on the road. But yeah, the Raptors with all those injuries, it's really tough to make a case for them. 70%, 15%. Now everyone's betting Orlando. That would explain the line movement. Yeah, so just know you're on. If you're taking Orlando, the whole world's with you, which shouldn't scare you off necessarily. Just be aware of it.
Whole world was on Jalen Green yesterday. Dude went absolutely ballistic. My God.
Did he? I saw the Rockets beat him up.
He had like 40 points.
I should have played that. What the heck is going on with these graphics? I just fixed these. How is...
Just blame Andy.
All these are the ones... Where the heck are these coming from? Oh, I think I know what happened. Oh, man, I could fix it. But you know what? We're almost done. No point even fixing it. We only got 3 games left. The things on the screen aren't going to be right. It's because I loaded the ones that we used temporarily last night for the video instead of the new ones. That's why. Damn it. Man, I need to get some sleep. All right, so Clippers at Pelicans. This line's 6.5. Clips plus 6.5. Pelicans minus 6.5. Pass. All right. Poll is running. I did bet this one, and I'm on the Clippers here. So this is kind of just like a fate of the Pelicans. This team is a little bit overvalued, if you ask me. I took Cleveland against them in their last game. They got the shit beat out of them. And I just feel like the value for the Pelicans has just skyrocketed based on, I'm going to pull it up right now. Look who they've played. The Hawks in their current state. The Sixers, there was no Maxey in that game. The Raptors with nobody. The Pacers, they beat the Pacers, but that was on the second leg of that home and home, and the Pacers beat the shit out of them in the first one. So the Pelicans won a few games, and everyone's like, started pricing the Pelicans like they're this top team in the West. I'm not impressed with any of these wins, which is why I took the Cavs in the last matchup. And it's why I'm going to take the Clippers here, because I think the Clippers are the much better team. Now, I know the spot is crazy, and I kind of wish I got involved this morning when it was at 7.5. I got it at 6.5. But to be honest, when I first saw this line, I assumed Kawhi Leonard wasn't going to play. He was questionable last night. He ended up playing. They're on a back-to-back with the travel. And then I saw the line at 6.5 last night, and I was like, oh, Kawhi isn't playing. If Kawhi Leonard's playing, what is this line? I mean, the Clippers are the better team here overall. We're going to lay 6.5 points to them. I can't do it. And not to mention, we're talking about the Clippers on the road, 11-3 in their last 14 games on the road. And one of those losses is it's not probably a similar spot to this, to be honest, a back-to-back with the travel. But the other one's at Oklahoma City. This Clippers team's been a beast on the road. I'm just playing the number here. There's no way I'd lay 6.5 points with the Pelicans. I know I can already see the poll. A lot of people are taking New Orleans here, fanning the Clips on a back-to-back. If Kawhi, it looks like Kawhi is playing, and if Harden plays, he didn't play last night, I think the Pelicans, this game comes down to the wire. So, yeah, I'm holding Clippers plus 6.5, and I'm comfortable with it.
You can go, Chris.
All right, so I thought the number was a tad bit too high as well, Kyle, but I couldn't get there with the Clippers because I could see a spot where they're kind of fading. I don't like the spot for them. Not only is it the second leg of a back-to-back with travel, like you mentioned, but it's also a third game in 4 nights, a 4th and 6, and a 5th and 7, which is one of the dead spots in the NBA for teams. So I couldn't quite get there. You also I think you get a much more motivated Pelicans team. So I played the Pelicans early in this one. Fate of the Clippers defense, especially on the second leg of a back-to-back. They haven't been great after the All-Star break. Bottom 10 in opponent points allowed per 100 possessions, opponent effective field goal percentage. They're not forcing a lot of turnovers, and they're giving up the 7th most offensive rebounds. And I think this Pelicans team, they got caught off guard a little bit. I do think that they're overvalued, like you said, a little bit as well, Kyle. But I think they got caught off guard by that Pelicans team, by that Cleveland Cavaliers team that came in there and beat the brakes off of them, actually. But now you get a Pelicans team. They're 40-23-2 against the spread in the first half, which is the second best ATS record behind Boston. 19-10-2 against the spread coming at home specifically, and they're coming off a loss. I think that Cavs loss kind of got their attention. I look into a lot of the beat writers and stuff as well, and I saw that Coach Willie Green did kind of call his team out and said we can't have effort like that. So I think they at least bounce back in the first half here. Kyle, which is where they typically play their best brand of basketball. So I took them first half here, minus the 3.5.
Prop Beaver, who would you agree with?
That's tough because if you just showed me the spread and I didn't look at any of that money information, I would think I probably have to lay the points with the Pelicans. That feels like the sharp side. But now that I see the poll and I'm seeing the money chart and everything, the fact that people are on the Pelicans kind of shocks me here. I mean, you're getting 6 points with Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, that feels a bit weird. Now, one thing I will say, though, is if you take James Harden out of the offense, they don't really have a distributor, and James Harden is a big part of that offense. I'm sure I didn't get to look at the on and off, but I'm sure the offensive rating is probably a pretty big difference. And then, as Chris was saying, the rest thing, I did not know about that. 5 games in 7 days. I mean, Jesus. So I think I would probably.
But Kawhi and Paul George didn't play in all 5 of those.
That is true. But I would probably still lean with the Pelicans just because, I don't know, that line feels a little weird to me.
I think you guys are wrong here. I think you guys are
wrong.
Well,
we could both win. We could both win,
yeah.
Me and you could both win.
Oh, you got it early?
Yeah. Well, no. I got first half. So I only played the Pelicans first
half.
Oh,
I didn't even know that. Let me switch the screen up. Oh.
Yeah, I only played first half. First half minus 3.5 is what I played. And you can still cover. You still can get your cover. I just think the Pelicans come out a little bit better in the first half, especially after getting smoked in the first half of that game just a couple nights ago. So we could both cash.
Yeah, and the Pelicans at home. Someone said in the comments, that's why I'm bringing it up. Said Pelicans at home are money. Pelicans last few games at home against Cleveland, they got beat by 21. They did beat the Pacers on the second leg of that back-to-back. Before that, lost to the Bulls, lost to the Heat. I mean, the Pelicans are just 1-3 in their last 4 at home. So I don't know. I'm pretty comfortable here. This is my smallest bet of the 3 bets I made. This is the only one that's 0.75. So this is my smallest one, but I think I'm on the right side with the Clips. We'll see. Prop, did you have a prop in this one?
I do. I got a nice plus money one here. I'm going with McCollum, 4+ 3-pointers made at plus 180. I just think this is simply too good a price to pass up in a perfect bounce back spot. So last game against the Cleveland Cavaliers, he shot 0 of 5 from 3-point. When he shoots 25% or worse from 3-point in the previous game, the following game he shot 40+% from 3 in 8 of 11 games. So that's great right there. He's good at bouncing back after those outlier performances. And when he shoots worse than 15% from 3-point the previous game, the following game he shot 40+% in 4 or 5 games, and he shot 57+% in 4 or 5 games. So he's really coming back with a vengeance, shooting super efficient in these games. And with 40+% 3-point efficiency, CJ's 20-3 to the over this season and 11-0 at home this season. So I think this is a great bounce back spot. Now he's facing a Clips team that has been getting absolutely cooked by point guards beyond the arc over the last 30 days, allowing the most 3-pointers made to the position. We've just seen Mike Conley, Lillard, and Fred VanVleet smack their 3-point totals against the Clips in their last 5 games. Against catch and shoot during that span, the Clips sit 30th in efficiency and 26th in field goals made. McCollum is second only to Trey Murphy in catch and shoot 3-point attempts, and Trey Murphy's horrendous at home. McCollum's now cashed his last 3 of 5 matchups against the Clips, including both this season, averaging 4.5 3-pointers made on 10 3-point attempts. And what else I like in this game is the fact that the Pels are favorites in this one. McCollum is over the last 8 of 9 Pels home wins with the starting 5, averaging 4.9, as well as the 7 straight home wins of 10+, averaging 5.4. So I just feel like everything's coming together here, and at that big plus price, that was crazy. For a half unit, I'll take the stab there.
Sorry, Wisconsin just hit a big 3. That's what I was fist pumping. So it's 48%, 42%. So the poll is on the Pelicans, but it's not overwhelming. There are some people down to take the Clips with me here. Let's move on to the next one. Denver, San Antonio, and straight up, I'm on the Spurs here. Let's run the poll. It's not a super. I don't have like crazy reasoning for it, other than the Spurs have been playing a lot better. We're talking about the Nuggets on the road, where they're definitely not don't play as well. But and also the Nuggets. What game do they have on deck? They have a big game on deck.
Yeah, they play Dallas, right?
Yeah, Dallas on it's TNT or ESPN. It's like a huge game.
On Sunday, I think.
Yeah, I'm pulling it up now.
Yeah, it's Dallas on Sunday. Yep, I got it written down in my notes.
Dallas.
Then they
on
got the
Sunday.
Timberwolves and the Knicks. So yeah, perfect look at his spot.
After this, the Nuggets have back-to-back road games against Western Conference contenders, both national TV games. So, not saying that the Celtics are going to punt on this. I mean, the Nuggets are going to punt on this one. But I like the spot for the Spurs. Not to mention, Spurs have been playing better. They're by no means are they a good team, but they've been competitive in these games. I took the Spurs plus the points against the Rockets a few nights back. It worked out for me. They covered. I'm going back to them. Give me the Spurs. Guys?
Can you hear what's happening outside my house right now, or can I talk and you're not hearing anything?
I don't hear anything.
Okay, great. They're shredding trees outside my house. That's why I wanted to make sure it's not catching on the mic. Fucking people. So I'm going with Michael Porter Jr. here. I'm going with under 2.5 3-pointers made, and it's pretty much the exact opposite of the reasoning with CJ McCollum. So Michael Porter Jr. is coming off an excellent performance against Miami. He had 25 points, 5 3-pointers made, but the Heat were selling out to stop Jokic in that game, and I love this as a sell high spot because MPJ has shot 49% or less from three in 15 to 20 games following a 50-plus from three performance. He did that against Miami, and when shooting 49% or less from three on the road, he is 17-4 to the under this season, averaging 1.6. And with the full starting five, he is 11-1 to the under in those spots, averaging 1.3. So basically, if this guy doesn't shoot insanely efficient from the floor on the road with the starting five, he is not cashing this number. Now he's facing a Spurs defense that has allowed the fewest catch and shoot 3-pointers made, the second fewest catch and shoot 3-point attempts, and the sixth lowest catch and shoot field goal percentage over the last 10 games. That is literally what Michael Porter Jr. does. On top of that, they've specifically excelled at limiting forwards from deep. They've allowed the fewest 3-pointers made to small forwards over the last 30 days. MPJ had 9 3-point attempts last game, but in his previous 3 with the starting 5, he had 4, 5, and 6. Put those 4 together, that's averaging 6 total. With 7 or less 3-point attempts on the road, he's 27-10 to the under. I just think that with a pretty low total here on a neutral site on the road, coming off that great performance, we're getting plus money. I will happily fade MPJ here in a game where I think Jokic is aggressive.
That sounded like you had more words coming. In a
honestly,
game where Jokic is aggressive?
I was supposed to say more, but then my mind stopped, and I was like, you know what? I don't got more to say. That was some freak shit, I'm not going to lie. But
you're a psychopath, bro.
I thought my internet cut out, Cal.
No, I just cut it off there. I forgot the next thing to say.
I'm clipping the shit out of that, man. Me and Chris are like,
am I frozen? Like,
oh shit, that was funny. All right, Chris, are you with me on the Spurs?
No, I'm not. I'm not on the game though. To be honest, I just feel like I like the over. I like the over a little bit more, Kyle. San Antonio, like you said, have been playing much better basketball. They're 7-3 against the spread in their last 10. They've covered 3 of their last 4. And they're the Denver on the opposite side, 4-0 straight up and against the spread after the All-Star break when they're on the road, winning by average 13 points per game. So this isn't a game that I want to put my money on. I feel like Denver has to have a letdown spot eventually because they only been letting down against teams that have a really bad win percentage, and all the teams that are supposed to be competing for a championship are the ones that they continuously just throttle. Like we see them, beat Boston, they beat Miami, like all the contenders. But in these spots recently, after the All-Star break, they've been going over because they don't play as much defense against the weaker competition. So they played 4 games since the All-Star break against a team that has a 50% win percentage or less. They played the Wizards, the Trailblazers, the Jazz, and the Raptors. And all 4 games have gone over. And they're going over by an average of 19.5 points. So I like the over a little bit more. I feel like they won't be locked in here as much, but I didn't bet it. So just a lean for me to the over, even though both of these teams have been playing some pretty good defense. I see the total going up in this one, and I think it makes a lot of sense.
I think it's going up right now, but last night when I made the graphics, it was 224.
It was going down. Same.
It went down. It went down from the beginning, but I think it went down and came back up a little.
Coming back up, yeah. I think people are thinking the same. Well, I don't know if they're thinking the same way I am.
No, I really like what you just said. I was actually.
Yeah.
I'm gonna bet it real quick. I like that. Those 4 games against bad competition. That was a good
point. So this is the crazy thing, like against the Wizards, the Trailblazers, the Jazz, and the Raptors. Not only have they gone over their team total, but they've allowed each one of those teams to go over their team total as well, which is why it's going over by an average of 19.5 points. So I'm probably going to end up playing it, but the slate is so ugly. Maybe a half unit. It's not something I love, but yeah, I like the over in this spot more than anything else.
Yeah, hold on. I'm screenshotting this and sending it right to the Discord in case they're not watching.
Got you.
I like that. That's the kind of shit me and Prop Beaver look for, is like matchups against specific types of teams. We've had success doing that. All right.
And when they play earlier, I like the MPJ look too, probably because San Antonio's defense has been so good against the 3. But when they play earlier, it was 132 to 120 in Denver. Yeah. So it's 152 points scored in that game too. And Victor Wembanyama typically plays well against like other superstar competitors, so he's gonna pull Jokic out from the rim, try to shoot a bunch of threes. So yeah, I like the over a little bit more than anything else.
I was a bit shocked with the total in this game. Like, if you look at the recent like matchup history, they're all high scoring games. Like, and when I was looking at the player props yesterday, like when I saw Jokic's line, when I saw a couple guys' lines, I was just like a bit shocked. Like, they were just down from their season averages, and it was just suspicious to me. But I do agree with everything you said. I do like the over in this game, despite liking MPJ's under. I think this is more of a Jokic game, more of a Jamal Murray game.
I like the Porter Jr. thing too. When I first
comments do not agree, they hate it.
Are the comments aware that the Spurs might be playing better defense in the 3-point shot than any other team in the league right now?
Oh no, it's not that they may be. They are. They are the best defense. Yeah.
Well, I was looking at this, and last night I was considering the Spurs money line, but what kept me off is Denver's lack of 3-point frequency. It's like, the Spurs are electric against the 3-point shot. Denver ain't shooting any 3-point shots.
They ain't shooting it. Yeah.
Right,
it should be a big Jokic game, right?
Yeah. That's what I'm thinking. That Denver, that's what I was thinking too, offensively on the interior, should get whatever they want on paper. Games aren't played on paper, though, as we know.
Yep.
So our poll is leaning towards the Nuggets, but it's not overwhelming. People are still laughing about Prop Beaver freezing. That shit was funny.
I don't blame them. It's like, instead of like making up for like my stumble, I just completely I like committed to the bit, and I was like, I'm not talking. I'm not gonna talk.
That's funny shit. I can't wait to clip that, man. All right, so we got Hawks Jazz. Don't listen to these lines here. Well, actually, this one happens to be kind of close. That's just random though. What happens is, in the beginning of the night for tomorrow night, we make placeholder graphics that don't have the correct lines in it. So when we're editing, and I accidentally loaded the placeholder graphics that don't have the right lines in. So that's my bad. It's been a long morning, man. March Madness is crazy. So I think this line is at 3.5, though, if I'm not mistaken, right? Or is it still at 3? Oh, no, 3. Ooh, 2.5's out there, too. So, all right, Chris, this is your chance. You can talk me onto a bet here. I was leaning your way already. Do you have a compelling case to make to the Hawks to talk me onto it?
I don't know how compelling you need here, Cal, with that Utah defense. I mean, that is the compelling argument here. Utah, after the All-Star break, allowed the most points per 100 possessions, most effective field goal, the worst effective field goal percentage. They're just bad, man. And I think Atlanta just kind of lives on their defense here. Looking at their defensive comparison here, Kyle, you got Utah giving up 123.1 points per 100 possessions. And at least Atlanta is top 10. Like, they are 10th defensively. They just been struggling to score the ball, only allowing 111.1 points per 100 possessions. And, I mean, Kyle, you got all these numbers too, but go through and look at the shooting frequency and the shooting accuracy of this Utah defense. I mean, they're the worst 3-point defense, a worst above the break 3-point defense, third worst corner 3-point defense. They're giving it up in the mid range. DeJounte Murray should go for at least 125 points alone in his sleep in this game. And I think that they just want to win. So peep this. So Lauri Markkanen and Jordan Clarkson both practiced yesterday, and then they get rolled out. You rule him out for what? Because you're trying to get more ping pong balls. So no marketing, no Clarkson. And then I thought this was the cherry on top for me, Kyle. Chris Dunn is ruled out for rest. He didn't even play it. They didn't even have a game yesterday. So that tells me that they don't want to play. Utah has done this thing where they traded like Abaji and Fontecchio and they just don't want to win anymore. We saw this last year from Utah, and I think that they're doing it right now. Also, the Bulls are 2 games behind Atlanta in that last place in the Eastern Conference for the play-in spot. So Atlanta, granted, they are injured, and they could get Jalen Johnson back, which I think will help a lot in this game. And Bogdanovich is listed as questionable, so hopefully he plays too. But I just think that Atlanta can win the game here. So I took a minus the 2.5. They are 8-2. No, I'm sorry, not 8-2. What I wrote in my write-up was that I'm taking a much better defensive team here that's more motivated to win. They also off a loss in Portland as well. They got a day's rest. They need the game, like I said, because of the spot. And that Chris Dunn resting, even though they're not on this, they got a game tomorrow, but it's against the Timberwolves. Like, they're not gonna win that game, so why rest them? So I just think when it comes down to it, Atlanta. I know I watched your show, Kyle. I know Atlanta burned you in Portland, but I think they get it back in this one, and they need the game as well. Utah they can't guard anybody, so I like DeJounte Murray points as well. 26.5. He has 2 games where he scored at least 40 in back-to-backs. In 2 of the last 3 games. And we just talked about the defensive shot charge. He's going to be the guy that's shooting the ball a ton. I probably might have a little bit more on that, but I like DeJounte Murray points, and I did lay the 2.5 with the Atlanta Hawks in this spot. I think they should win this game.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm going to put Hawks up for me. Here's my only, and I'm just playing devil's advocate here, and this just goes for when in these kinds of situations in all sports really is – the front office and the coaching staff can put the team in a position where they should lose, but the players themselves are still playing for contracts, for more minutes. So maybe you can't, that part, like Keontae George, Colin Sexton, they're going to be playing, but I guess Atlanta -3 has to be the side. And you're right, the Utah Jazz defensive numbers, I don't know if I've ever seen it so collectively bad down the board like that. In every single shot zone, it's pretty decisive. But we're still talking about the Hawks on the road laying points. And, man, the Hawks humiliated me on my own show. Freaking Ski came on and took Portland and everything. I don't like losing, man. I don't like losing.
Me either.
So,
Cal, look. We think about this, right? Let's think of this out real quick. What's the difference between Portland and Utah?
Portland can play some defense.
The biggest difference.
Portland can play some defense,
right?
Yeah.
And Utah absolutely does not, and that's why they lost the game because they couldn't score.
Yeah, Portland was actually clamping them.
Right, Portland's been a really good defensive team.
Yeah,
Portland's offense is just bad. Utah is like really their best offensive players out. I'll just let prop people go.
All right, you know what? I'm doing it. Let's do it. All right, fine. I'm in.
I want it. Yeah.
I'm now in. I have money on 5 of the 6 NBA night games tonight on a shitty slate. Call the number.
I love it.
It's time to call the number.
I love it.
All right, I'm jumping in on the Hawks. Let's do it. Come on now, Caesars. You can go ahead, prop people, while I'm loading this up.
So my main play in this game, if Jalen Johnson sits, I'd go with Bogdanovich over 4.5 assists. You get that at nice plus money. I'm assuming if Johnson's out, that'll go to like -115. Still like that there quite a bit. Without Trae Young on the court, nothing special. Bogdanovich, he's under 9 of 14 games. But when both Young and Johnson are both out, we've now seen Bogdanovich nab 3, 7, and 8 assists on 9 potential assists and 7.3 adjusted assists. So that's pretty big right there. He's getting the opportunity to hit this kind of line, and we're getting a great matchup against a Utah defense that is just flat out horrendous. 30th in defensive rating over the last 10 games. Have been a bottom 3 defense and assists per game allowed all season. And in fact, it just seems that not Trae Young, but just Jalen Johnson alone is the one thing that holds Bogdanovich back from passing the ball, because without Jalen Johnson, Bogdanovich is now over his last 6 to 8 games, averaging 5.3. I just think that with so many guys that he could pass to on the perimeter, he should be able to go over this line. And then in terms of other leans, anybody that could shoot a 3-pointer, that's my other prop. So I would take Murray over 3-pointers. I would take DeAndre Hunter over 3-pointers. I would take Bogdanovich over 3-pointers. I would take Vit Krejci over 3-pointers. Anybody with a pulse and a good price with 3-pointers tonight on the Hawks, I would take against Utah.
See, Corey Johnson, I already know that they're not doing a freaking Karl Malone night. So I know that one's some bullshit. They are not doing a Karl Malone night. I can guarantee
Karl
you
Malone
that.
night. Oh, God.
Someone said I called the number. They told me to bet Hawks.
Hey, that's what I was laughing at. At. Shout out to Anton in the chat.
It's a good.
They told me too. I called too. I texted him.
Did you see that Instagram thing that went viral? It was the guy calling the 1-800-GAMBLER number.
That had to be fake.
It was fake. It was definitely fake. But it was, he made it look real on a live stream, called 1-800-GAMBLER. He must have been calling his boy or something. But people thought it was real and it went viral. It was pretty funny. For the first time you watch it when you think it's real, and then you're like, oh shit, this is bullshit.
I gotta check it out.
They're like, because like the person like tries to make it sound real, and they're like, have you considered Jesus? Like so it's like, oh my God, is that what they say on that number? 45%, 40% on the on the Jazz. Community doesn't like our bet here. Okay, community's feeling the Jazz here. All right,
the Hawks do suck.
So there's that. All right, so let's do a community parlay. Community parlay. They like the Suns money line. That's the disgusting one. Heat, Pistons. They like the Pistons. Magic, Raptors. They like the Magic. Man, these lines are making this community parlay tough. Clips, Pelicans. They like the Pelicans. All right. I actually can now hear Prop Beaver's the background now.
Yeah, I'll turn it off. The fucking chainsaw massacre outside. These people.
Chainsaw massacre. Oh my God. Dude, I can't wait to go back and watch that part where he's like, Jokic has been aggressive.
Hey, Prop Beaver, you one of the funniest people I know, and I don't even really know you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
When you said your spider senses were tingling the other day with the Brooklyn Nets and Orlando game, oh man, that was funny.
My sharp senses.
I got the sharp senses, man. They tingle.
And every time Jokic gets aggressive, that was so funny. All right, so
I watched it back. I thought it would look worse. It's not as bad as I thought. I thought I was going to look like a freak. I thought I had a mini seize. No, it was just a weird timing, weird ending.
All right, so we got Magic money line, Suns money line. Chris, you're getting a chalky start here,
which is cool. As long as we cash, I don't care if it's chalk, non-chalk.
Yeah, all money's green.
That's a fact.
So we're putting Pistons money line back, Pelicans money line back, and then the last two. Nuggets money line, I guess, at -10.5. And then Jazz money line. You guys voted for the Jazz. So first and second are going to make it. Man, so if Pelicans and Nuggets finish out this community parlay, Prop Beaver, we might get the chalkiest of all time that we've ever had.
In history? Wow,
Bro.
I do love a chalky parlay.
The shortest favorite would be Pelicans at 6.5.
Yeah, we cashing today.
It'd be like +118. Someone says we're going to get wrecked with these picks, and he spelled wrecked R-E-K-T. That's how you know it's
Seems
real.
like a cool guy. Has a tap out shirt and a Monster Energy right next to him.
All right, so it's Nuggets and Pelicans, Prop Beaver.
Okay, so 1 sec. I was sending you the underdog. All right, so let me calculate those odds real quick. Hide that screen so I could see the parlay real quick. Okay, so we got the Magic. Where the hell are they? Okay, Magic,
Suns, Nuggets, Pelicans.
Pelicans, Nuggets. Jesus, guys. +149.
Oh my God. This is the chalkiest we ever had. We've never gone below +170 before.
I mean, that is horrifyingly chalky.
This is history. We've never had up.
This is history. We made it.
We've reached an all-time low.
If it cashes, it cashes.
Hey.
If it doesn't cash, we look terrible.
I think we look terrible either way.
No, this is plus EV.
Did you send that an underdog? Oh, here we go.
Yeah, I did. Wow, 3 of those are road favorites. Oh my Christ.
It's disgusting.
Yeah.
It's truly gross. All right, Prop Beaver, give him your underdog.
Yeah, so we talked about the 2 3-pointer ones. Went into a lot of detail about those. The only other one I added was Trey Mann. He's a one I was considering today, but didn't ultimately make the list. He's playing more off ball because they have Micic now starting at the 1, and the Suns just suck at defending the 3 ball. I noticed his points line is kind of high too. They're implying if he's going to score points, when he gets 10 plus points, he hits a 3 ball at a high rate. So I'm going to add that as well.
All right. And if you don't have an underdog fantasy account, it's available in any state highlighted in this map. So if you're in one of these states highlighted in yellow, head over to the website or download the app Underdog Fantasy. Make sure you use the promo code BET. B-E-T. All right. Chris, thanks for joining. I now have money on 5 of these 6 NBA games. I originally only planned on betting 1. It was only the Spurs. And I added the Pistons. And then I added the Clippers. Then I got conned into 2 more on this show. I'm on 5. All right, let's have a good night. Tomorrow I got Josh Landers coming on, and we're gonna do it at 4 p.m. But the first NBA game's at 5, so it'll be we'll pick up the pace so we get done in time for the games to start.
All right, I like that fast-paced offense tomorrow.
March Madness schedule same time. I think 10:30 or 11 tomorrow, depending on. I gotta look how many games there are. Everyone, have a good night. Remember to bet responsibly. Talk to you later.